Copenhagen. This place is the real deal. It's got everything: history, culture, good vibes, and did I mention the food? First things first, Copenhagen is the capital of Denmark, and the Danes know how to live. Imagine cobblestone streets, colourful buildings, and bike lanes packed with more bikes than cars. It's super clean, the people are friendly, and the public transportation is on point. Whether you're into art, food, or just want to chill, Copenhagen has got you covered. Now I know what you're thinking. Hassan, isn't Copenhagen known for like Vikings and stuff? And yeah, you're not wrong. This city has been around for centuries, and it's seen its fair share of history. We're talking Viking raids, royal palaces, and even a little thing called the Renaissance. But that's what makes Copenhagen so dope. It's a city where the past and present collide in the most awesome way possible. You can walk through ancient castles, then grab a Michelin star meal a few blocks away. You can explore museums filled with Viking artifacts, then hit up a trendy bar with live music. It's a city that seamlessly blends its rich history with a modern, forward-thinking mentality. But Copenhagen is way more than just its history. This city is alive with creativity and innovation. From its world-renowned design scene to its thriving food scene, Copenhagen is a place that's constantly pushing boundaries and redefining what's possible. And let's not forget about the Danish concept of Hygge. It's like this feeling of coziness, contentment, and good vibes, and it's basically ingrained in the Danish DNA. So yeah, Copenhagen is pretty much magical, but it's a magic that's grounded in reality, in the friendliness of the people, the beauty of the city, and the deliciousness of the food. Get ready to experience a city that will challenge your perceptions, expand your horizons, and leave you wanting more. Trust me, this ain't your average European adventure. This is Copenhagen. All right, let's kick things off with Nyhavn, which literally translates to New Harbour. This place is old school cool. 17th century waterfront vibes with rows of brightly coloured townhouses lining the canal. Picture this. You're strolling along the cobblestone streets, the sun is shining, and there are these adorable little boats bobbing up and down in the water. It's like something out of a storybook. These days, it's a bit more chill, with tons of restaurants, cafes, and bars. Trust me, there's nothing quite like sipping a cold Carlsberg beer while watching the world go by in Nyhavn. Section 2. Tivoli Gardens. A world of wonder. Next up, we're heading to Tivoli Gardens, and let me tell you, this place is pure magic. Imagine a whimsical amusement park smack dab in the middle of the city, complete with roller coasters, carousels, and even a Chinese pagoda. It's like Disneyland, but with a Danish twist. Tivoli Gardens has been around since 1843, and it's still one of the most popular attractions in Copenhagen. And for good reason. It's got something for everyone, whether you're a thrill seeker looking for an adrenaline rush, or you just want to stroll around and enjoy the charming atmosphere. They've got these beautiful gardens with exotic plants and flowers, and at night the whole place lights up like a fairyland. Seriously, it's straight out of a dream. Plus, they have live music and performances throughout the park, so you can catch a show while you're there. Section 3. The Little Mermaid. A Danish Icon. Now, no trip to Copenhagen would be complete without a visit to the Little Mermaid statue. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. It's just a statue, Hassan. But hear me out. This is more than just a hunk of bronze. It's a symbol of Copenhagen, of Denmark, of like childhood dreams and stuff. The statue is based on the famous fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen, who just so happened to be from Copenhagen. It's been sitting on a rock in the harbour since 1913, gazing out at the sea, and people come from all over the world just to get a glimpse of her. Now, I'll admit, the statue itself is pretty small. Like, you might even miss it if you're not looking for it. But there's something about her quiet dignity, her wistful expression, that just gets to you. Plus, the setting is pretty epic, with the harbour and the city skyline in the background. Section 4. Christiansborg Palace, Power and History. Alright, let's get our history buff on and head over to Christiansborg Palace. This place has seen it all. We're talking fires, demolitions, reconstructions, you name it. But through it all, it's remained a symbol of Danish power and resilience. Today, Christiansborg Palace is home to the Danish Parliament, the Prime Minister's office, and even the Supreme Court. Yeah, they don't mess around in Denmark. But don't worry, you can still visit parts of the palace, including the royal reception rooms, the palace chapel, and the royal stables. You can even climb to the top of the tower for some killer views of the city. Trust me, it's worth the trek. And hey, while you're there, take a minute to appreciate the architecture. It's a mix of Baroque and Neo-Baroque styles, and it's pretty darn impressive. Alright, let's talk about Hygge, because you can't truly experience Copenhagen without understanding this essential Danish concept. It's pronounced Hygge, and it's basically the art of cozy living. Imagine this. It's a chilly evening, you're curled up on the couch with a warm blanket, a cup of hot cocoa in hand, and candles flickering around you. You're surrounded by good friends or family, or just enjoying each other's company in comfortable silence. That, my friends, is Hygge. It's about creating a warm, inviting atmosphere where you can relax, unwind, and appreciate the simple things in life. It's about slowing down, disconnecting from the hustle and bustle, and just being present in the moment. Danes are masters of Hygge, especially during those long, dark winter months. They embrace the darkness, light candles, and create those warm, intimate spaces where they can connect with loved ones. Once you experience Hygge in Copenhagen, you'll want to bring that feeling back home with you. Okay, let's talk about bikes, baby. In Copenhagen, bikes are a way of life. This city is the cycling capital of the world. Everyone and their grandma is cruising on 2 wheels. Businessmen in suits, parents with kids, and grandmas with cargo bikes. Copenhagen has dedicated bike lanes and traffic lights for cyclists. It's safe and efficient and a great way to see the city. Feel the wind in your hair as you glide through Copenhagen. Discover hidden gems, get exercise, and be eco-friendly. Ditch taxis and public transportation and embrace the 2-wheeled revolution. Rent a bike and experience Copenhagen like a local. Now, let's talk about Danish design, because these people know a thing or two about style. Danish design is all about simplicity, functionality, and clean lines. Think minimalist furniture, sleek lighting, and those iconic egg chairs that everyone and their mum wants. You'll see Danish design everywhere in Copenhagen, from the furniture stores and design museums to the cafes and restaurants. It's all about creating spaces that are both beautiful and practical, where form follows function. Danes believe that good design should be accessible to everyone, and they've really embraced that philosophy. You don't have to be loaded to afford stylish furniture or home decor. There are tons of affordable design shops and vintage stores where you can find unique pieces that won't break the bank. So, if you're looking for some design inspiration, Copenhagen is the place to be. Bring an extra suitcase because you'll want to take some of that Danish style back home with you. One of the things I love most about Copenhagen is the people. Danes are some of the friendliest, most welcoming people you'll ever meet. They're always down to help, and they genuinely want you to have a good time in their city. Maybe it's the Hygge, maybe it's the fresh air, or maybe it's just the Danish way. But there's a real sense of community spirit in Copenhagen. People are out and about, interacting with each other and enjoying their city. You'll see families picnicking in the park, friends catching up over coffee, and strangers striking up conversations at the market. It's a refreshing change of pace from the often anonymous nature of big cities. So, don't be afraid to strike up a conversation with a local. Ask for recommendations, share a laugh, and embrace the Danish hospitality. You might just make a new friend or two along the way. Trust me, the people are one of the things that make Copenhagen so special. All right, history buffs, let's rewind the clock because Copenhagen wasn't always this chic metropolis. We're talking way back, like over 1,000 years ago, to the age of Vikings. Yeah, those bearded, boat-loving warriors. They were the OG Copenhageners. See, back then, Copenhagen was just a tiny fishing village called Nyhavn, which literally means harbour. But it was strategically located on the edge of the Øresund Strait, a major waterway connecting the North Sea and the Baltic Sea. And the Vikings, they knew a good spot when they saw one. The harbour at Nyhavn was perfect for their longships, those sleek, fearsome vessels they used for raiding and trading. Over time, the village grew, and by the 11th century, it was a bustling Viking settlement. They were fishing, trading, and probably doing a little bit of raiding on the side. Hey, it was the Viking way. Fast forward a few centuries, and Copenhagen was making moves. In the 12th century, Bishop Absalon of Roskilde saw the city's potential and decided to fortify it, building a castle on the island of Slotsholmen. That castle, my friends, was the precursor to Christiansborg Palace, which we talked about earlier. Absalon's castle was just the beginning. Over the next few centuries, Copenhagen became a royal city, the seat of power for Danish kings and queens. Castles and palaces were built, churches and cathedrals rose, and Copenhagen transformed into a grand capital worthy of its royal residents. We're talking about powerful monarchs like King Christian IV, who ruled in the 16th and 17th centuries. He was a bit of a rock star king, known for his ambitious building projects, his love of parties, and his fiery red beard. He's the one who gave us iconic landmarks like Rosenborg Castle, the Round Tower, and the Nyhavn district, those cute little yellow houses you see around town. But Copenhagen wasn't just about kings and castles. It was also a city of merchants, sailors, and explorers. Its strategic location on the Øresund made it a hub for trade, connecting Scandinavia with the rest of Europe and beyond. Ships laden with spices, silks, and other exotic goods from distant lands would sail into Copenhagen's harbour. Merchants from all over Europe would flock to the city to buy, sell, and make their fortunes. The city buzzed with activity, and its wealth and influence grew. This era of trade and exploration brought new ideas, new cultures, and new architectural styles to Copenhagen. The city's skyline was transformed with grand buildings. Its streets were paved, and its population swelled with people from all walks of life. Copenhagen was becoming a truly cosmopolitan city. Section 4. Dark Days and Defiance, World War II and its Aftermath. But even in its darkest hour, Copenhagen's spirit of resilience shone through. During World War II, Denmark was occupied by Nazi Germany, and Copenhagen, as the capital, faced its share of hardship and oppression. The Danish resistance movement, however, was active and courageous. They carried out acts of sabotage, helped smuggle Jews to safety in Sweden, and kept the flame of freedom burning. There's this incredible story about how, in 1943, the Danish resistance managed to evacuate almost 8,000 Jews from Copenhagen to Sweden, right under the noses of the Nazis. It's a testament to the bravery and compassion of the Danish people. After the war, Copenhagen rebuilt and emerged stronger than ever. It embraced its role as a modern European capital, a center for culture, design, and innovation. The scars of the past remained, but so did the spirit of defiance, the commitment to freedom, and the belief in a brighter future. Section 1. A Smørrebrød Symphony. Open-faced delights. Alright foodies, buckle up because we're diving into Danish cuisine, and it ain't all just pastries and Vikings. We're starting with a Copenhagen classic smørrebrød. Don't let the name scare you. It's basically just fancy toast, but like seriously fancy toast. Imagine this, thick, hearty rye bread with a nice chew. Pile it high with smoked salmon, pickled herring, roast beef, shrimp salad, the works. And don't forget the garnishes. Fresh dill, crispy onions, a dollop of creamy remoulade sauce. Smørrebrød is an art form in Denmark. Each piece is an edible masterpiece, crafted with fresh, high-quality ingredients. You can find it everywhere in Copenhagen, from traditional lunch spots to trendy cafes. Order a few kinds to share and get ready to have your taste buds tantalized. Now let's talk about the good stuff, pastries. If you have a sweet tooth, Copenhagen is your paradise. We're talking about a city obsessed with baked goods, and trust me, they take their pastries seriously here. First up, you gotta try a Danish pastry. And no, I'm not talking about those pre-packaged things you find at the grocery store. I'm talking about fresh from the oven, flaky, buttery, melt-in-your-mouth goodness. We're talking about cinnamon swirls, custard-filled pastries, almond croissants, the works. Then there's the wienerbrød, which actually means Viennese bread, but don't let that fool you. Danes have made it their own. These are like croissants on steroids, with layers upon layers of flaky dough, often filled with marzipan, remonce, a sweet almond paste, or custard. Wash it all down with a cup of strong coffee, and you've got yourself a proper Danish breakfast. But Copenhagen's food scene isn't all about tradition. In recent years, there's been a culinary revolution happening in the city, with chefs pushing boundaries and redefining what it means to eat Nordic. Enter the new Nordic cuisine. This ain't your grandma's Scandinavian food, all right? We're talking about innovative dishes that showcase fresh, seasonal ingredients, often sourced locally from Denmark's pristine forests, farms, and coastlines. Think foraged mushrooms, delicate herbs, fresh seafood, and heirloom vegetables. New Nordic cuisine is all about purity of flavor, minimalism, and a deep respect for nature. It's about taking simple ingredients and transforming them into something truly extraordinary. If you're a foodie looking for a culinary adventure, Copenhagen is the place to be. One of the things that makes Copenhagen's food scene so special is its diversity. You can literally find anything your heart or stomach desires. Want to grab a quick bite at a street food market? Head to Nyhavn or Tivoli, where you'll find everything from gourmet hot dogs to Michelin-starred tacos. Feeling fancy? Copenhagen boasts an impressive collection of Michelin-starred restaurants, including Noma, which has been crowned the world's best restaurant multiple times. Just be prepared to shell out some serious dough for the privilege of dining there. But honestly, you don't have to break the bank to eat well in Copenhagen. There are tons of cozy cafes, casual eateries, and traditional Danish restaurants where you can get a delicious and affordable meal. So come hungry, my friends, because Copenhagen is ready to feed your soul. Yo, I know what you're thinking. A cemetery? Hassan, you trying to bum me out on my trip? But chill, fam. This ain't your average graveyard. Assistens Cemetery is more like a park, a peaceful oasis right in the heart of Copenhagen. We're talking cobblestone paths, towering trees, and these beautiful old tombstones covered in ivy. It's like stepping back in time, and you can practically feel the history whispering through the air. Plus, some seriously famous folks are buried here, like Hans Christian Andersen, the fairy tale master himself, and Soren Kierkegaard, the OG existentialist philosopher. But here's the thing. Danes don't treat death like this morbid, taboo thing. They embrace it as a part of life, and Assistens Cemetery reflects that. People come here to walk their dogs, have picnics, even sunbathe on the tombstones. It's all very chill, very Hygge, and it'll give you a whole new perspective on life, death, and everything in between. All right, let's talk about Christiania, because this place is wild. Imagine a self-proclaimed free town smack dab in the middle of Copenhagen, a place where the rules are different, where creativity reigns supreme, and where, let's just say, things can get a little hazy. Christiania was founded back in the 1970s by a group of hippies, artists, and activists who basically took over an abandoned military barracks. They declared it a free state, independent from the Danish government, and started living by their own rules. Now, Christiania has had its share of controversy over the years, especially when it comes to its open cannabis market. But it's also a fascinating social experiment, a place where people are free to express themselves, live sustainably, and challenge the status quo. Just be respectful, follow the rules, and prepare to have your mind blown. Now, let's head to Nørrebro, one of Copenhagen's most vibrant and diverse neighborhoods. This is where the cool kids hang out, where you'll find street art, vintage shops, and some of the best falafel in the city. Nørrebro is a melting pot of cultures, with a strong Middle Eastern presence. You'll find mosques next to tattoo parlors, kebab shops next to organic cafes, and people from all walks of life coming together to create this unique and energetic atmosphere. This is also where you'll find Jægersborgade, a street that was once considered a bit rough around the edges, but has now transformed into a hipster haven. Think independent boutiques, artisan coffee shops, and restaurants serving up everything from gourmet burgers to experimental Nordic cuisine. Last but not least, we're going to Vesterbro, a neighborhood that's undergone a serious transformation in recent years. Once known for its red light district, Vesterbro has shed its seedy reputation and emerged as one of Copenhagen's trendiest areas. We're talking about cool bars, Michelin-starred restaurants, and independent art galleries, all housed in former factories and warehouses. The meatpacking district, or Kødvejen, is a must-visit. It's now a foodie paradise, with trendy restaurants, butcher shops, and nightlife spots. But Vesterbro hasn't completely lost its edge. You'll still find tattoo parlors, dive bars, and a certain grittiness that gives it character. It's a neighborhood that embraces its past while looking towards the future. A perfect example of Copenhagen's ability to evolve while staying true to itself. So there you have it, my friends. We've journeyed through the heart of Copenhagen, from its iconic landmarks to its hidden gems, from its rich history to its vibrant present. We've explored the magic of Hygge, the thrill of cycling through the streets, the deliciousness of smørrebrød and pastries, and the creative energy that pulsates through the city's veins. Copenhagen is a city that defies easy categorization. It's both ancient and modern, traditional and innovative, laid back and exhilarating. It's a city that surprises you at every turn, with its charming canals, its colorful houses, its unexpected green spaces, and its people, always so warm and welcoming. Whether you're a history buff, a foodie, an art enthusiast, or just someone looking for a unique and unforgettable travel experience, Copenhagen has something for you. It's a city that will challenge your perceptions, inspire your senses, and leave a lasting impression on your soul. Now, before I unleash you on this amazing city, let me drop some knowledge bombs to make your trip smoother than a freshly buttered Danish pastry. First off, the best time to hit up Copenhagen is during the shoulder seasons, spring or fall. You'll dodge the summer crowds and score some sweet deals on flights and accommodation. Plus, the weather is still pretty awesome. Getting around Copenhagen is a breeze thanks to their awesome public transportation system. But seriously, do yourself a favor and rent a bike. It's the best way to experience the city like a local and feel that wind in your hair freedom. Trust me, you'll be rocking those bike lanes like a pro in no time. When it comes to accommodation, you've got options galore, from swanky hotels to cozy hostels, depending on your budget and style. But if you really want to immerse yourself in the local vibe, check out Airbnb for some unique and stylish apartments. You'll be living like a true Copenhagener in no time. But here's the thing about Copenhagen, my friends. It's more than just a city. It's a state of mind. It's about embracing the simple things in life, appreciating good design, connecting with nature, and living sustainably. It's about finding joy in the everyday, whether you're sharing a meal with friends, exploring a new neighborhood, or just soaking up the sun in a park. Copenhagen is a city that stays with you long after you've left. It's a feeling, an energy, a way of life that seeps into your soul and inspires you to live a little differently, a little more intentionally, a little more Hygge. So, what are you waiting for? Pack your bags, book that ticket, and get ready to experience the magic of Copenhagen for yourself. Trust me, this is one adventure you don't want to miss. Peace out and see you in Denmark.